What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Alpha Skies. Let's go ahead and jump straight into this video. Today we're going to be going over what I personally believe to be some of the best PvE weapons that you can craft in the game currently. I will obviously mention what the weapons are themselves. I'll go ahead and also mention what I personally believe to be the god rolls for the weapons are, and then obviously I'm going to include where you're going to be able to loot these weapons in order to get the craftable versions. And jumping straight into it, we're going to go to the auto rifles, and the auto rifle I think that you need to go for this season and that I believe is the best currently is going to be the Amit AR2. It is a solar auto rifle that can roll with a lot of different really good perks, but you're going to see primarily that most people are going to be rolling with something like Ambitious Assassin, Stats for All, Dynamic Sway Reduction, and Incandescence. And in my personal opinion, you definitely want to go with something like Ambitious Assassin or Stats for All with Incandescence, as this weapon does not have a lot of recoil to begin with, which doesn't really warrant needing Dynamic Sway Reduction. And this one is also extremely easy to actually obtain, so if you go to the Enclave after you have completed the Glaive quest, you can just simply go over to the table on the left side of it. You can start a quest line and it will give you 2 of them as you follow the steps of the quest line, and 2 is all you actually need to unlock the pattern itself. And moving over to scouts real quickly, I know this one is going to be a little bit of a hot take because obviously Doom of Kilkis is out right now, and a lot of people are going to be expecting this here, but the reason that I'm actually choosing this scout rifle over it is that this one is a little easier to farm and to obtain, and that one is going to be the Tarnished Metal. Now the Tarnished Metal is obviously an arc scout rifle, and it is extremely strong in my personal opinion, having some very strong and some very unique perk combinations. It does feature Volt Shot. Me personally, I am not a huge fan of this perk, but if it is something you decide you want to actually try out, then go for it. But for me personally, I will usually opt for something along the lines of either Demolitionist with explosive payload, Rapid Hit with explosive payload, or Shoot to Loot with explosive payload. And to get this scout rifle currently this season, all you have to do is either go to the expeditions and go get the weapons from the treasure chest and hope that you get a red box, or you can go farm Catch Crash. I do recommend you farm the master version of it though, as you do get more weapon drops, so you are significantly more likely to actually obtain a red box version of any of the weapons from the chests at the end. Jumping over to the hand cannons now, we take a look at Zhao Li's Bane. This is honestly a very strong and actually consistent hand cannon to use, and in my personal opinion, the god roll for it is going to either be explosive payload paired with Incandescence or One for All. One for All being a good baseline for whatever subclass you're actually using, doesn't really matter, you're going to get a good consistent damage buff from it pretty much all of the time, whereas Incandescence is also extremely strong, but I would recommend it mainly only to run with Solar 3.0 so that you can run it with some of the aspects that increase your Scorch stacks on enemy targets. This hand cannon is going to be dropped from King's Fall. It's going to drop from some of the other encounters in there. I don't know which specific ones that it's going to drop from right this second, as I don't have the loot table pulled up, but I knew though that at least once per week at the end of the raid, you can go up to the chest after defeating Oryx and you can purchase 1 guaranteed red box a week from the chest at the end. Looking over at pulse rifles, we're going to take a look at the Insidious. The roll that I think you guys need to craft on this one is going to be, in my personal opinion, Rapid Hit with One for All, because again, it is a little more consistent than running it with other perks like Rampage or Adrenaline Junkie per se, and obviously I wouldn't put Vorpal weapons so much on a pulse rifle, as there's just really not too much of a need for that in any way. This one is going to drop from Vow of the Disciple, and again, I don't have the loot table up right now, so I can't tell you the exact encounters that it actually drops from. However, again, just like King's Fall, at the actual end of the raid, after defeating the final boss, you can go up to the chest at the end, and you are guaranteed 1 red box per week. Now looking over and switching up to the SMG, the Submission. The 2 most popular rolls in terms of god roll for this gun that you're going to see people running is either going to be Overflow with Frenzy or Subsistence with Frenzy, and that is just genuinely going to come down to personal preference. Me, I prefer Overflow over Subsistence, but it, again, just comes down to what it is that you guys actually want to run on the gun and what you feel is a little bit better for your personal playstyle. And this SMG, just like a couple of the weapons that we're going to be covering in this video, is going to drop from Vow of the Disciple. And taking a look at the last primary weapon type that we're going to be looking at here is going to be the Drang. The Drang is a solar sidearm, and in my personal opinion, the absolute god roll for this thing is going to be Wellspring with Incandescence. Pairing this with 3.0, having Incandescence with your solar, you're going to just basically be blowing targets up constantly left and right, and you're going to be also regenerating your abilities with Wellspring, as it is also going to proc with Incandescence as well. And the ways to farm this weapon is to either go into the Helm to the Crown of Sorrow and actually go and focus your engrams to a Drang specifically from there, or go do the Nightmare Corruptions over on the Moon. Now looking over into the grenade launchers, we're going to take a look at a weapon that not only is one of the best craftable weapons in the game, but is honestly one of the best PvE weapons in the game, period. That being the Forbearance. And it's no surprise or anything like that. This one has only 1 god roll set to it, and that is going to be Ambitious Assassin with Chain Reaction. And this is a weapon that yet again is going to be farmed from Vow of the Disciple. But if you do actually want an alternative because you don't want to run Vow of the Disciple, this one actually has a really good alternative to it, that being the Explosive Personality. The god roll for that grenade launcher being auto-loading holster with Frenzy, and it is something that you can farm out either doing the Psyop Battlegrounds or through focusing in the helm. And if you're looking for a fusion rifle, then I think your go-to is going to be the Deliverance. This one is pretty unique as it does go in your kinetic slot, but does stasis. And with it being stasis, fortunately enough, it does actually roll with Chill Clip, which is why, in my personal opinion, I think the god roll for this is Demolitionist with Chill Clip. And unfortunately, once again, like most of the weapons on this tier list, this weapon is going to be sourced from Vow of the Disciple. But now let's go ahead and look at the sniper rifle, the Thoughtless. This one again is going to come down to personal preference or whatever activity it is that you're doing. You're going to want to take Overflow, and you will be pairing that along with something like Focused Fury or a Firing Line. Again, it just depends on what activity you're doing, but for the most part, I generally just keep mine with Overflow and Focused Fury so that I don't have to change the perks or anything like that too often. And fortunately, this weapon is actually a lot easier to get as it does not actually drop from the raid or anything like that. It does drop from Psyops Battlegrounds or simply from focusing your engrams in the helm. So it is a little bit of a breath of relief to see that this weapon that is an absolute powerhouse actually being a little bit easier to farm as opposed to most of the weapons that we've seen on this list. Now we take a look at this season's shotgun, the No Reprieve. And in terms of the god roll, again, I think this is going to be one that you actually revolve around whatever activity it is that you are doing. So if you're looking for a weapon that's going to do extremely strong DPS to bosses, then I think the obvious choice is to go with Triple Tap with Focused Fury. But if you're just cleaning up ads, then I think it's something that you can throw up in the air to take either Stats for All or Feeding Frenzy, and then pair it along with either Swashbuckler, Wellspring, or even Headstone if you want to. This one is a bit easier to farm. Again, it's not from raids or anything like that. You're going to get it through farming Catch Crash or from the expeditions, or focusing your Umbral engrams at the star chart inside of the helm. Taking a look at one of the last weapons here, we have the Cataclysmic Linear Fusion Rifle. In my personal opinion, the god roll for this one is going to be 4 times the charm plus bait and switch. I know some people switch it over scenario based with Focused Fury, but I don't think it's really needed as you can proc bait and switch both as a solo player or with groups. And although 4 times the charm and clown cartridge definitely keeps your magazine uptime and your damage uptime up longer, I don't think the DPS is near as good as something that actually has a percentage based increase like bait and switch or Focused Fury. And unfortunately, yet again, this is another raid weapon as the source is going to be Vow of the Disciple. And the last weapon we're going to talk about, I think, is to absolutely nobody's surprise at all. That is going to be the Taipan 4FR. And the absolute god roll for this weapon is going to be putting Enhanced Battery with Triple Tap and Firing Line. I do make an emphasis on Enhanced Battery as it does increase your magazine size to work well with Triple Tap. Pairing that along the fact that it has the origin trait Vice Sting, which has a chance to actually reload a small portion of the magazine whenever you are damaging an enemy. This weapon pairing that origin trait with Triple Tap allows you to keep an uptime of damage pretty much up at 100% of the time. And in order to obtain this one, all you actually have to do is either go and focus your Umbral engrams at the helm, or the fastest way in my personal opinion is to go and do the questline that you did previously for the Amit AR4 auto rifle, and exactly like that one, you will end up getting 2 red boxes of this handed to you directly after following the steps for the questline. And of course, you only need 2 to actually receive the craftable version. And if you guys enjoy these types of videos, feel free to hit that subscribe button and that like button down below as it really helps me a lot. And according to my YouTube statistics, only roughly 2% of my viewers are actually subscribed. So if you guys are here again and you're enjoying the content, you may as well hit that button on your way out. But with all of that out of the way, once again, I am Alpha Skies, and I will catch you guys in the next video.